Sun's Life Training and Certification Program, because we are brought to you from those folks, and we're just really enjoying doing this. And as far as we can see, we're going to continue to do this for throughout the rest of the year and into next year. We really are proud to be part of the IST magazine Sun's Life approach to training owners and managers in managing their stores. And also specifically, I want to talk about the training modules that Sun Life has got out there, and you can see the connection on there. And for example, one of the modules they've got is notions about lotions, which is not just certification that they do, but they have a lot of modules that they're putting together for training and sales, that kind of thing. So I would encourage you to go to their Facebook, and I'm also going to give you that address and information on how to go to Sun's Life here a little bit more as we move on. Just a quick recap of my background. You've seen it before. You're probably sick of seeing it, but I've spent a lot of time in corporate America, but also a lot of time in retail in general, and specifically in the tanning business, along with some academic things that I rumbled through here years ago, including my master's in HR management. Also with me today, well, actually on the call we'll be listening, is the director of the Sun's Life program, Mr. Tony Brown. And there are those addresses up there, by the way: sunislifetraining.com, sunislifecertification.com. And Tony's doing some marvelous things with the Sun's Life program. I can't, I'm sworn to secrecy here, but he has a lot of big plans that he's rolling out here that's going to make this a very all-encompassing educational program, and I'm very happy that he's including me as part of this. So, and then also today we have David, who's our tech wizard, will be on here. He's the one that, for our company, that puts together all of the web designs and email systems and social media approach and all that kind of thing. So, David, are you there?
I am here. Hello, everyone.
Okay. Yes. Hope you don't get tired of being called tech wizard.
I love it.
I think I was going to tell everybody you were the propeller head, but I don't think you liked that, so we stuck with tech wizard.
It's not that I don't like it, I just don't know what that means.
Well, to old farts like me, it means somebody that's a highly tech person. So, and by the way, David, I just noticed this guy here is really smart on this end. Market Me Tan, which is how they can get a hold of you. That's not. Oh boy, I love this spell check. Anyway, that says markered. It should be Market Me Tan. So take that R out of there. Sorry about that. Good old spell check. Anyway, first of all, before we get going here, let's find out who's on the call today. So we're going to run some polls on if you're an owner or a manager, and then the number of salons. That just gives us some idea of who we're reaching. So David, I'll let you take over that.
All right, folks, are you a tanning salon owner or manager? Do you want to click on your screen? We've got two options there, and please do not type in the chat box. We have a few folks there, very enthusiastic, but typing in the chat box there. So we actually prefer just go ahead and click on the screen there real quick on either one of those options. We'll give everyone a few more seconds here, going once, going twice. And let's close down the poll, take a look at our numbers here today. We've got, our almost 50-50, 52% owners, 48% managers today.
Okay, good mix, good mix. And then how about the number of salons?
All right, folks, so same thing here. Go ahead and click on the screen. Number of salons in your tanning company, 1, 2 to 5, or 6 plus. Go ahead and click on your screen and let us know. We have 69% of the vote in. Give everyone just a few more seconds. 3, 2, 1. And our results are one salon, 17%. The majority, 2 to 5 salons, is at 46%. And then we have 6 plus with a very good representation here at 38%.
Wow, good. Good. Well, welcome to all of you, whether you have a single salon or you have 50. We're glad to have you all. And, of course, our subject today is on salon leadership. And, from a guy that has been doing management, which I have for 45 years, I know that makes me sound awfully old fartish, but well, the truth of it is I am an old fart. But at 45 years of doing this, you get to see a lot of different leaders, and having been in the tanning industry for as many years as I have, I've probably worked with 600 or 700 salons, and believe me, it really is the make it or break it quality for any successful salon. So today I'm going to talk about 3 of the best managers that are owners, managers or owners, let's call them leaders, and 3 of the worst, and what we can learn from them, because you can learn from both sides. So these people are real. The ones that are the good ones, I've used their real names. The ones that aren't so good, obviously I've not used their real names, I suppose selfishly because I don't want to be sued. But they are real people, and the things that I'm presenting that they do as leaders are real. So first one we're going to talk about, we'll go to the dark side, and we'll talk about Rick. Yes, just Rick. You can fill in the blank. Okay, so now Rick owns 3 salons, plus he owns a couple other retail outlets. He's been in business for about 15 years, employs about 50 employees. His managers of his 3 salons have been with him for more than 3 years. Now, if this guy is a bad leader, then you ask, well, why have his managers been with him? Well, the particular market he's in has nearly double the nation's unemployment rate, and jobs are really, really hard to come by. So these people have kind of stuck with him. In some ways, the attraction of working for Rick is that a lot of times he leaves the managers alone. Unfortunately, when he does get involved, it makes a lot of issues. But here are some of Rick's ways of leading. Rick trusts no one. I can tell you that. He absolutely trusts no one, and he lets his employees know it. He lets them know that he doesn't trust them. But this is really weird. This is a really strange situation. As he goes around the salons or his other retail stores, he'll occasionally pull cash for his own personal use from the salon drawers. He doesn't put a receipt or a note or notify the managers. He just goes ahead and does it. It's like having an internal thief in the company that happens to be the owner. And what he'll do is he'll berate the managers if their drawers come up short. I mean, it's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. But anyway, so, and of course, the managers and the employees know that he does this. That's one of his interesting little attributes. He openly recruits employees to spy on others. He's got a little spy network set up. So when you're working there, you're not sure who's going to be talking to Rick next. And you wonder, well, why would people get involved in a spy network for someone that's not a very good boss? Well, a lot of times people will become spies for a boss because they're trying to curry favor with him. And they know that he is an SOB, but they'll still curry favor with him, that they can bring little notes to him or tattle on someone else. It takes the spotlight off of them. It's just a real sick environment. He is often guilty of inappropriate comments to both female and male employees. I mean, some of the stuff that he said, I can't believe, and it's why he's had several legal issues. He's had harassment charges brought against him. Guy just does not know when to shut up. And of course, one of his other interesting little traits, and again, this is what we can learn from bad leaders, is he berates employees when he's upset with them in front of other workers and customers. And it's terrible to see how that embarrasses and humiliates the employees. This is a good one. You're really going to like this. He hosts an annual Christmas party at his home where he hands out Christmas bonuses. And these are cash bonuses that he hands out. I'm not sure how he can do that given how he handles that with the taxes. But anyway, he hands out cash bonuses, or these are envelopes with cash in them. And there's different amounts to employees of the same rank and tenure. And you say, well, why? Well, it's just the way that he does things. Obviously, that's wrong, because people, what they do at this Christmas party, they talk to each other. How much did you get? How much did you know? They're comparing numbers. Now, one thing, let me just talk about Christmas bonuses just for a second here. I hate to be the Grinch that stole Christmas, but I am not, and particularly in favor when clients ask me, in favor of Christmas bonuses, because usually Christmas bonuses don't have any kind of performance matrix or index attached to them. If you can tell employees why they're getting this particular bonus and for this particular reason, then all bonuses or raises, of course, make some sense. But I guess what I would tell you is that I would never hand out a raise or a bonus without having some kind of a mini performance review, some kind of feedback on why they're being paid this extra money. It just, if you don't, then it just makes it look like you're playing Santa at that time of the year, and really, you don't want to be Santa. You want to be an effective leader that recognizes performance and rewards that. He gives he's not given a raise to any of his manager employees for more than 3 years because he tells everyone that the business is losing money. But next paragraph, at his Christmas party last year, he proudly showed all his employees his new classic Fender guitar. And if you know anything about guitars, Fender guitars are classic guitars. I suspect they still make them. I don't know. I'm not a guitar freak. But and this guitar, he told everybody, cost him $15,000. And he added it to his collection of 11 other classic guitars, which he proudly displays on his library in his home at the same time while he's telling his managers he can't afford to give him a raise after 3 years. The conclusion that one could come up with is that Rick is a bold-faced liar, and I don't think I can argue that. So Rick's leadership disasters list. He sets a terrible example of his own personal dishonesty. Lost integrity can't be recovered. How can you ask employees to respect company assets if you don't? I mean, if you're the one that looks like you're stealing yourself. Just as bad, he sets up an expectation of dishonesty. And employees tend to live up or down to our expectations for them. And if you ever get a chance, look up the Pygmalion theory. Pygmalion was a Greek play. Then George Bernard Shaw turned it into the play Pygmalion, and then eventually became the Broadway show My Fair Lady, which deals with expectations and the power of positive expectations. But there's also power of negative expectations. And by telling his employees or demonstrating to him that he thinks they're all crooks, sometimes people will live down to those expectations. He's lost really the most important commodity of being a leader under number 3 there, and that's trust. When employees distrust you, they disrespect you, and your interest, whatever your interests are in the salon as a manager or an owner, if they don't trust you and they disrespect you, they're not looking out for your interest. And obviously, when we talked before about how he berates employees in front of customers and other employees, reprimand should always be done in private. Always, always, always. An employee chewed out in front of other employees and customers is humiliated. And when you humiliate an employee, they forget the message that you're trying to get to them. If you're trying to get the message to them that they can't be calling off their schedule, whatever, but you're raging at them in front of other employees, what they're listening to is the fact that you're embarrassing them and humiliating them. They don't hear the rest of your message. So that's another one of Rick's disasters list. And let's have a poll here, David. How would you sum up Rick as a leader? So here are your choices. Not much worse than most managers or owners. Definitely not as good as some. Selfish, dishonest. Selfish, dishonest, insensitive to others, lacks empathy. Or, plainly speaking, Rick's a horse's blank. So we'll just see what you people think of Rick so far. By the way, that's not his real name.
Okay, so we have just under half, 62%, 64% have voted, 74% have voted. I can't even keep up. We'll give everyone here just a few more seconds to cast their vote on this one. There's a lot more options on this one here than our other ones.
Yes,
so,
yes, there is.
77% of the vote, 79%. Okay, we'll give you guys just 3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Close it down. Let's take a look. So interesting. Not sure if you can see this here, but not much worse than most managers or owners. 0% cast their vote for that.
Well, I'm encouraged to hear that they feel that. Okay.
Definitely not as good as some. 6% say that. We've got another 0% that say selfish and dishonest. But we have a tie for the last 2 options here. Selfish, dishonest, insensitive to others, and lacks empathy is a tie of 47%, exact tie with plainly speaking, Rick's a horse's something. I'm not sure what the fill in the blank is, but
yes, I don't know either what it is. Okay, well, I think we can all see that this is not a guy that's an effective leader. His employees don't trust him, and that's bad to have. So let's talk about somebody that's much better. Let's talk about a guy that I personally have a lot of admiration for. He's been a client of mine for several years. His name is Jim Todd. This is a real person. He's a co-owner of Sunrays Tanning Salons in Somerset, Kentucky. They have 2 salons. This guy is just, he's excellent. He comes to what he does with an excellent background in selling, sales management, and managing employees. He started in the tanning business while he was still in the video rental industry, and then that morphed over into tanning beds in his video stores, and eventually they opened up full-line tanning salons while the video stores were closed. But why is Jim one of the best that I've worked with? Well, honesty. He's consistent and fair with all employees. You don't have employees walking around that are getting paid $1.50 more per hour for the same job as somebody else, unless they've been there for quite a while. But he's also fair with his bonuses, with compliments, redirections. He treats everybody the same, and he's very consistent. Jim is, of all the people I've met in tanning, he is absolutely one of the best. He lives by his word. You can trust what he tells you. He's just super. I wish we could clone his attributes and ship that around the country in a lot of different salons. Jim is also always approachable, and this is one of the things that I see with several of the salons or chains that we work with, is that you'll get a person in a key position that has a bad mood or gets in a bad mood, and he can't or she can't be approached. Jim is always approachable. Now, Jim and I have become very good friends outside of the business circle, so I know a lot about his personal life, and he's going through some real challenges with health issues in the family over the last few years. We've kind of compared our health issues, and I know that Jim has had a lot of those, but yet when he goes into the salons, he parks that at the door, and it's not that he's not a human being, but he just keeps himself very approachable. You can go to Jim on anything. He might, and be in the back of his mind, he might be having a horrible day or being very worried about someone in his family, but you just wouldn't know it because he wants people to come to him. And of course, that creates a trust and an initiative. Employees feel they can take the initiative to keep customers happy without penalties. You could, if you were working for Jim and you had a disgruntled customer and you wanted to give them a free upgrade or something that would placate their feelings, you could do it without worry that Jim would criticize you or come after you. He's just fantastic that way. You can approach him on anything. And the one thing that's really amazing about Jim, because he sets it as an example, he is always selling. I mean, Jim has a personality that is selling everyone, his customers, employees, vendors. He's sincere about what he's selling, and it's not a put-on thing. He's not a used car salesman. He really cares about people and does just get so many people to sign up with him because that's just the way that he is. He sets a great example. He does a lot of partnering with his customers and employees. He's a collaborator. He invests in relationships. And this is something that you don't see in a lot of salons. Somebody will walk into the salon, and the first thing you know, they're trying to sell you the most expensive package, the most expensive lotion, without getting to find out anything about you at all. Jim tries to find out who this person is without getting too personal with them, but he commits his time. And with the employees, his patience, his empathy, he creates bonds with people. His employees watch that, and they emulate that. And that's a real good thing as a leader to see. He's a very nice guy, but he does establish boundaries with his workers, and they understand, and he tells them the why of the rules and best practices. He doesn't just tell them the rules and tells them not to cross that line, but he tells them the why, and that makes a big difference. That makes him a leader that they can really respect. So why do people like to work for Jim? What makes him a good boss? He cares about building relationships, and they know that he knows that may well pay off in the short run and in the long run. Sometimes it doesn't pay off in the short run, but at least a lot of times it'll pay off in the long run. He's always approachable. No one's afraid to say anything to him. Employees trust him. His reputation is rock solid. He will not waver from that reputation. He sells everyone. And he's really a unique guy because I think everybody that comes in contact with him, they feel like they're important to him. He's got that way of making you feel like you're the only person in the room. He's he's just kind of a unique guy. I wanted to share what he is like with you guys. He inspires his workers by showing them how to do things the right way the first time and coaching them with what I would call a velvet glove. When he redirects, he's not harsh about it. He's not nasty. He can draw the line and assume the role of the boss, but uses that sparingly. He's not only liked by his workers, but most importantly, he's respected. And he is a very effective leader in his tanning salons. Okay, so now let's go back and we're going to go over to the dark side again and talk about the next one on the dark side. I'll just call him Jack the Jerk. This guy is, this is really pretty pathetic here. He owns 4 salons. He's been in business 6 years. He averages 6 employees per salon, or roughly 24 employees. Last year, his chain had 350+% workforce turnover. That means that he turned those 24 employees over 3.5 times. The average employment tenure was only 11 weeks. Now, there's some people that have been there like a full year, but some people, not the 11 weeks. I mean, there are some people that quit before the day they started, which really blows my mind. Many of them that quit the day that they did start because Jack does the training, and we're going to find out more about Jack in a second here, because Jack is a hot-tempered and he makes impulsive decisions. He says and does things that really sets people off. His outbursts, he can alienate a person inside the first few minutes if they know him. I've yet to, I think, meet somebody as objectionable as this person is. We worked together for just a brief, I think it was 3 or 4 months that I tried to help him, and finally just got to the point where I just said, hey, I've got to move on, and good luck, because he's a fellow that I tried to tell him that he has found the enemy and he is us, and I think he finally got that, but he still hasn't done anything to replace himself. This is a chain where he should really remove himself operationally from day to day and put somebody in there that understands that when you have 4 salons, you're not in the tanning business anymore. You're in the people management business. And Jack just does not understand that. And then what he tries to do after his emotional outburst, he'll try to buy employees off. He'll try to take a sales associate by herself. He'll try to take her out to dinner to try to placate her or whatever. Now, I'm going to show you in a little bit here that that's not just all what he's trying to do. He promotes workers based on gut reaction to how he feels they'll perform in the next position. He uses no performance measures. I try to encourage him to take a look at the per-tan average and some of the other ways that we can measure employees' their productivity. He couldn't get him to stick to that. He just liked to work on his gut. He sets daily goals. Now, I know a lot of salons set daily goals, and I think daily goals are fine as long as you don't get too crazy with them, because remember, some days a salesperson can just be standing there and someone comes in and buys a bottle of black and it looks like their per-tan average is really crazy, or they can be there that day and you've got nothing but EFT customers coming in that for some reason are not buying anything else. They're not buying any upgrades or lotion or anything. So, but daily goals, I know, are something that a lot of people use to just try to give their sales associates something to shoot for. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you don't get too crazy about the daily. That's why I look at more of the 30-day trends. But he'll set daily goals based on nothing except how he feels they should be selling that day. No history, no trends or whatever. There was one day that he wanted everybody to have a $10 per tan average, and historically that same week last year they did 7.25. And when I pointed that out to him, he just said, no, I want to get a $10 average. And I think what he did is he just took out his calculator and figured out how much money he'd make that day if every transaction had a $10 average. So what can I tell you? Strange duck. Now, here's the other part about Jack you don't know. He has a personal relationship with one of his female managers, which, of course, employees resent. Well, I don't know what to say here. I think it's pretty obvious that if you're having a relationship with someone and the other employees, of course, are going to know that. They're going to know it in about 11 seconds because you can never keep that quiet. And that is going to really create a whole bunch of resentment because the other employees obviously think that Jack is giving special favors to her, which he is, and he's pretty obvious about it too. Jack is also one of those leaders that does not know how to listen. Employees don't know how to communicate with him, and instead of trying, because he likes to dominate every conversation, they simply just get frustrated and they leave his employment. He insists on conducting all salon interviews for managers as well as associates. He does all the hiring, makes hiring decisions on gut. He does all the hiring, which means his managers have nothing to say about the people that he hires and puts in the salons. And if you want someone to take ownership and decisions, if you're a good leader, you're going to get them involved in those decisions. He doesn't do that. And I'm sure you're not surprised to hear that his language is also crude and harassing. I thought, why isn't this guy working on a dock somewhere down in the New York Harbor? But he's really bad. Okay, so what do we learn from Jack? Employee morale can be greatly altered by a boss we can't predict. If we can't predict what the boss is going to be and what he's going to do, we're kind of walking on eggshells. There's too many work options for people out there, for employees to put up with Jack's emotions. Thus, that's why he has such huge turnover. His turnover last year cost him $100,000 of payroll spent on terminated employees. $100,000. You've got to do a lot of tens to get that. Now, he would have turned over some if he had been a good leader, but not to the degree that he did. He thinks he can be a tyrant and save the day by whining and dining certain employees. Just crazy. Having an intimate relationship with a non-spouse employee is not good business. It creates an atmosphere of unfairness, and believe me, it's talked about every day that those salons are open. Okay, so let's talk about one of the best salon managers I've worked with. Her name is April, and maybe April's even on here today. I won't mention April's last name because I know that the company, the tanning salon company she works for, would not like a whole bunch of people calling her to try to recruit her. But anyway, April has a tremendous sense of workplace balance with her employees. What I mean is that she's about business, but she's also animated and has a good sense of humor, and she knows that occasionally they're going to make mistakes, and she doesn't make them feel like the world is lost when they do make a mistake. So she keeps a good balance in that. They're not afraid to go ahead and do something aggressive. They keep trying new ways to succeed because they know that April's not going to burn them. April has not just settled for anybody she can hire at the moment. She's very good about upgrading the team. She keeps looking for better talent all the time, and over this last year she's gotten a fantastic team. And their per tan averages are outrageous. They have some very, very big per tan averages. April doesn't do training one time. She keeps training and retraining, which is what a leader should be doing, training and retraining. We have too many people that are working on salons out there that get that initial training, but they don't get that exposure to their trainer, their manager, their buddy later on to keep them on the retraining cycle. And everybody needs that from time to time. She'll know the salon numbers every day. She keeps employees up on what they are and where they can go. And that's important. A leader should be keeping those numbers very present in her mind and keeping them very present in the employees' minds, because that's how we keep score. She's without a doubt, April is without a doubt, for all the salons I've worked with, the best tanning salesperson I've ever experienced. She is an absolute killer. To watch her at work is, I call her the shark. She's not offensive. When she comes up, or when the customer comes in, you can almost hear the theme of Jaws, in the background. It's like the shark attack, except that she's not biting anybody. She is very good at coming up with commonality with the customer. The customer begins to know, like, and trust her. And she doesn't sell them the most expensive package to start with, whatever, but if they've been with her for a while and they're buying 30-day packages, she'll convert them to an EFT so fast you won't even believe it. And she'll offer them little incentives, little premiums sometimes. She'll give them, free upgrades. She just does those kinds of things that should be done to get the customer to say, this is really a good value for my money. And I think one of the things that customers think is they think that April is part of that good value, because she really is. I tell you, if I could clone April, I would be a millionaire because I could sell Aprils all over the country. So she's one of the better ones, and I'm going to do a recap here at the end of the good and the bad. And then we get to Vivian the volcano. Uh, this is something else. This person is a control freak. She does not delegate, and a good leader will delegate. A good leader will get people involved. She will not delegate. She has to approve everything. If you give away a free tan in that salon, if you don't have her permission to do it. So when she's not there, what do? You try to call her on her cell phone, and you call her on her cell phone, and she chews you out for bothering her when she's at home. But she insists on having control over everything. She is very mercurial in her moods and her personality. And if you've heard the old adage about the lady and the tiger, you don't know which door you're opening with her, because her moods are so hot and cold. You don't know when you get a hold of her, is this the lady coming out or the tiger ready to eat you? Because that's just the way she is. And what does that do? Employees back off from her. They don't attack. Matter of fact, what they do is they avoid her. And I guess the best way to say it is that Vivian does not react to issues. She's reactionary. And reactionary means that she's mixing emotions with day-to-day issues. She reacts from a very emotional base, and sometimes reacts way over the top. She is very paranoid about her territory and controlling everything, so she values loyalty and servitude over competence, meaning she wants someone to be 100% loyal to her and continue to prove it all the time, and she wants them to be in servitude, whether they're competent or not. She'll take somebody that's not particularly good as a salesperson as long as they're running around, kissing her behind. And that's just Vivian. That's the way she does things. If you disagree with her, she'll hold that as a personal grudge. She takes everything as a personal grudge. She's very territorial, shares nothing of perceived power. If there's any kind of power for that salon, whatever it might be, she does not share any of it. If the salon does something well, if it has a really good month, it is not because of what the employees did, it is because of what Vivian did. And the employees see that, and they're very resentful that she will not share the spotlight. She has outbursts at employee mistakes that are loud and illogical. It is like vomitous the way this woman goes after employee mistakes. And a lot of times these outbursts have no logic. I've listened to a couple of them and just shook my head and just said, this person she must need some medications because she's nuts. She feels she has to win every discussion. There's no collaboration with her. It is absolutely, it's my way or the highway with Vivian. So she's not somebody that we want our people to emulate. So let's get another good one here. We're going to talk about Rich Samuels of Maximum Tan. Rich is the owner. They have 7 higher volume locations with lots of competition. So he's got a lot of challenges going on all the time. He may have higher volume, but there's higher volume competitors trying to take his volume away. He knows his business. He knows the business very, very well. But he's willing to learn from anyone. And it was kind of one of the things that really impressed me as a consultant when I first started working with him, is that given the amount of success he had, I always wonder this when I start with a client, is the client going to try to impress me with how much they know? Or are they going to partner with me so we can work with each other and I can help them with what I know? And for as much as Rich knows and as successful as he was very, very open and said, John, just tell me what I got to do to make this better. And that was wonderful. It made my job very, very easy. So he learns from his employees as well. He's a good listener, listens to what they say about packages and marketing, that kind of thing. He also can make the tough decisions, and this is also important as a leader. We had to make a change at the district manager level with his chain, and this district manager had been with him for 6 years. They had been with him almost the whole time he had been open, from being a clerk up to being a manager, assistant manager, manager up to a DM. And unfortunately, the job requirements just plain outgrew her, and that was a shame, and that does happen at times. And it was a tough decision because he felt that this is somebody that had been his right-hand person and had helped him. But you know, sometimes you got to make those decisions, and those are tough decisions. But as a leader, that's your domain. You have to know when to make that decision, and whether you're a salon manager or you're a salon owner, you have to know when the chemistry isn't right anymore, or if it never was right to begin with. His demeanor with employees is predictable and measured. He thinks first about what he's going to say. You don't see outbursts from him. Somebody will bring something to him that you might think would be kind of insulting, or they may say something that is not particularly tactful, but he doesn't reach out and metaphorically try to strangle them. He really thinks it through before he responds. To some degree, he's almost, sometimes I think maybe not as assertive maybe as he should be, but yet his style seems to work very well. He's a very trusted leader among his people. He does make those tough decisions, but he has a lot of compassion for his employees. And so when we had to make the change, and we had to make the termination of that district manager and bring in her replacement, that was very, very difficult for him, and he did everything he could from a compassion point of view to help the old district manager get on to her new life. This man is definitely action-oriented. Another part of being a leader is taking action instead of just thinking about it all the time. There's a lot of salon owners I deal with that I look at their business, and their business maybe has been going down for the last couple of years, and the question I'm always wanting to know is, how come you haven't done something up till now? What has kept you from doing it? And I think there's sometimes this fantasy that, well, it'll come back, and I'm just having a bad year or whatever. I had to deal with one client who had 7 years of declining business before she finally came to us, and we have helped her, but 7 years of declining business is tough to correct overnight. He will invest in people. Rich is one of those guys that can see the long term and will invest in his people and his business. He doesn't expect always short-term payback, but he is willing to invest. We've got clients that will absolutely just not part with a dollar to upgrade their people or even their beds. They just don't see it, and they have low per tan averages, and they wonder why the competition is taking away more market share. And I know part of that comes from the fact that tanning years ago was a different business. 10 years ago, you just had to be open. You didn't necessarily have to be good. And for some of those folks that have been around for a long time, it's hard for them to adjust and put more investment in patience and resources into people in the business. He responds with empathy to employee issues. Responding with empathy means that he doesn't take away their problems. He lets them know that he understands their problem. And the old adage on that is that you don't want to take the monkey off your employee's back. If your employee has a problem driving their car or getting the transportation to work, it's good to understand that they have that problem, that you want them to know that you do understand that. That's good. That's empathy. But you don't want to remove that problem. We have a client a couple of years ago that was providing an employee a car. And this was not a management employee. This was a sales associate. For this sales associate to use this car for 3 months because they didn't have a car. Well, then other employees want to know when you're going to provide a car for me. That's what that's doing is taking the monkey off that person's back and you owning the monkey. And it's the old adage that if you continue to take the monkey off your employee's back, your office will be a zoo because everybody will park their problems there. But Rich doesn't do that. He knows how to draw the line. And so let's get down to some summaries on some of these people that we've talked about. And this is kind of the leadership, the down and dirty dozen. We got to focus on priorities, and this is what a good leader does. You have to be organized to focus on priorities. Before you go into the salon every day, before you go into your office as a salon owner, you're making up what your priorities are for that day because there's always things that can interrupt you. Now, obviously, my hint to you that HR issues are usually not easy, but they have the biggest impact on your salon. what happens in priorities is that a lot of owners and managers will handle that thing that they know how to understand, and that is whether it's replacing bulbs, cleaning. Those are good things to do, but those are easy to do because a bulb that's being replaced doesn't talk back to you. And unfortunately, HR issues don't go away by themselves, because without having your human resource issues resolved, the bulbs are secondary in importance. A leader takes action and gets things done. And this is one of my favorite sayings: if it's to be, it's up to me. Instead of waiting for somebody else to do it. I know that in my business, that's the way that I am as well. I've got to take action, and sometimes I probably do too much of it. But and maybe what the action that you've got to take is to be a better delegator, which is point number 4, and we'll get to that. Now, point number 3 is on motivation, and that's going to be one of our webinars coming up here, is on motivation and incentives. And this, of course, is hugely important. And I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about motivation, what it is or how to do it. And when we get into that webinar, we're going to tell you what motivates people. I have an article that I write for IST Magazine that'll be out next month. And it might be surprising to you that research has shown that people that don't get out of bed in the morning and get in to open up your salon or oversleep for their shift or whatever, those people are motivated. They're just not motivated to do the right thing. And that's some of the things that we're going to go into in this webinar that will be coming up. Now, on motivation, it is important to remember to reinforce efforts as well as achievements. We are, unfortunately, people in a society with all the mass media and social media that's going on there that continues to pound number one, number one, number one. We're pounding Tiger Woods winning another tournament, or somebody winning the football playoff, the basketball playoffs, whatever. It seems like we're always talking about that number one team, that number one performer. And it's like we've become a society that anything less than number one is not acceptable. If you want to motivate employees as a good leader, you've got to reinforce their efforts. Sometimes their efforts don't achieve what you want to achieve, but if they've made a real effort, that makes all the difference in the world. Because really, what are you trying to do when you're reinforcing their efforts? You want to work at maintaining or at least enhancing your employees' self-esteem. And take this one to the bank. Take this from a guy that's been doing this for 4.5 decades. If you're the employer that can maintain or enhance your employees' self-esteem, you've got an employee that's going to stick with you. Because this country, and I'm sure it's true about a lot of countries, but this country is known for some very, very low self-esteem. And again, it's all of our media, it's all of our desire to have these 15 minutes of fame, and for everybody to be number one, for everybody to be a champion. And the vast majority of people are never going to achieve that. And so they feel such a pressure, and they feel that they're really not that good if they can't become a champion of whatever that they're involved in. And that just does lead to a lot of low self-esteem. And so if you can help enhance them, and what that comes down to is, and it's like Jim Todd, when I talked about Jim Todd before, every conversation that Jim Todd has with his people is always something around the subject of enhancing their self-esteem. If they say, well, Jim, I'm sorry, I didn't really have a real good day today in selling lotions. My LPPA was low. Jim will try to assuage their feelings and just say, yeah, but remember yesterday or the day before, you sold this, you sold that. You just had an off day, that's all. I mean, he's going to make sure before they walk out the door that they feel better about what they did that day. So employee self-esteem, very motivating. Delegation, I tell you, what I see in a lot of salons is I'll see a manager who tries to take upon herself everything, that she or he can do it all, and does not get the staff involved. And the staff just shows up to put in their hours. They don't understand part of what the overall salon's goals are. And a way, of course, to help that is to have good, regular team meetings. And you got to delegate out. You have to have people that are at those meetings have certain responsibilities for them. You can have somebody that's at that meeting that's reporting on what the sales results are. I mean, if you go into my website, which will be at the end here, it'll show you there's a suggestion for a team meeting topics agenda. Get people involved, delegation, and you're going to find that the people that are most successful leaders are the ones that get the most production out of what the team accomplishes. When I ask a salon manager about their sales and they say, well, my PTA is $11.75, and yet I'm looking at PTA of the rest of their employees that's in the $5 or $6 range, I'm not really impressed with that. I'd like to see what the entire team is doing. So I know you saw this several times about being an approachable boss. You got to leave your personal issues at home. I personally work for people that I didn't approach them. I just avoided them. And I've worked with clients that are like that I know their employees are just plain avoiding them. If I can just avoid Jack the Jerk today, I hope he's at another salon and I don't have to deal with him. But that really cuts down on what can be done with that employee's productivity. And allow mistakes. Mistakes are the best teacher when they're used as a tool and not as a weapon. I worked for a guy years ago that I felt that metaphorically he had a ball-peen hammer behind his back, and he waited for you to make a mistake and brought that hammer down on your knuckles. Now that might be kind of a graphic description, but it's like he was looking for you to screw up. And there was a book that was written back in the 70s. It was called The Games People Play. There was also a song back then, too, for some of you more mature folks like me, called The Games People Play. Joe South, I think, was the singer. But anyway, the book, the Games People Play, I'm not making this up. It had a chapter in it called Now I've Got You, You Son of a Bitch. Not trying to be offensive with the language here, people, but that was the name of the chapter. And it was talking about that there are certain leaders that they really get off on this, waiting for someone to screw up so they can, I guess, let their passions unleash on going after that mistake. Mistakes are best when they're used as a teacher, used as a tool, not as a weapon. And learn from everyone. A good leader is first a great follower. I believe that I'm an excellent leader, but I had to learn from a lot of folks. If we had time on this webinar, I would tell you about some of the most mammoth screw-ups I made in my management career. It's just huge, huge screw-ups. But I made the decision to learn from that and learn from other people. Inciting creativity among yourself and your employees, all great accomplishment starts with an open mind. What I see with salons that grow are not with one person trying to grow the salon. It's with the owner and everyone in that salon pitching in with ideas and concepts of how they can be better than the competition. And that's what you want. You want creativity. You want creativity to flow like, you know, stuff will come up. I know in our company, David and I will talk about things sometimes, and I know it's stuff that I've never thought about. And he comes up with these ideas, and I say, well, no wonder I think he's a propeller. He's a wizard or whatever. So things to think about. Okay, we're on the kind of on the backtrack here, so get your questions ready. Leadership, down and dirty dozen. Now, the leader also is a teacher and a trainer and a retrainer. Don't take your employees and your new employees and train them, and I hope you train them with a training checklist, by the way, and just train them once, throw them in the deep end of the pool and walk away. Everybody secretly, whether they admit it or not, wants and needs a mentor. I've been lucky to have a half a dozen mentors in my career that made a significant difference. Everybody needs one of those. And another part of being a leader is communicating, just having good communication skills. There's no such thing as too much communication. I have a client that is kind of a moody gentleman. It wasn't mentioned here today, but he'll come up with an idea, and if his employees don't like the idea, he clams up and gets very moody and doesn't holler at them, whatever, but it cuts off communication. And they don't, well, a lot of times they just don't talk to him because they're afraid of hurting his feelings. It's really odd, but that's the way it is. Communications, of course, the free-flowing is very, very important. And, of course, the tough decision. And this is something to remember. The contrary to popular belief, you are not your brother's keeper. If you surround yourself with people that you're afraid to terminate because they're not performing, you're going to have a very, very low productive staff. So it's important that you keep that in mind. You're in business. It's not like you're firing somebody after 3 weeks maybe, but if they're not going to work out, you know, there's a great book, great research that was done years ago, and it was called The School for Animals. Write that one down and Google that. The School for Animals, and I forget the doctor's name, the research doctor. But in essence, it says that what a lot of us do is we hire ducks to climb trees, or we hire squirrels to fly. And sometimes we make decisions where people are just not good salespeople. And doesn't mean that they're bad people, but we have to recognize that. And sometimes those are tough decisions, and we have to move on. And of course, lastly, being consistent. We have to have one standard. A leader has one standard. He doesn't have a standard for people that he likes and another standard for people he doesn't like. Leaders set the example that others want to copy. I've had the pleasure of meeting some very good leaders in this business, and the displeasure of meeting some that weren't so good. But we're going to move on to questions in just a minute here. But I mentioned this in the webinar last time. If you're a manager and you want to impress your boss or your owner, what's important is to know your salon numbers. This is maybe one of the most important parts of leadership, is to know your salon numbers backward and forward. Keep a plan going all the time to improve them. Report back to your owner or your boss your progress before he or she asks. Because bosses and owners love initiative. If they know you're on top of the numbers before they are, that will be very, very impressive. All right, so a couple of quotes I want to share with you. Your bosses will value you in direct proportion to the number of times they don't have to tell you to do something. And now this is an important statement, and some famous guy by the name of John Farr said that, but they will value you in proportion to the times they don't have to tell you to do something. I'd much rather, as a boss, be concerned about initiative that an employee took, and even if it was a mistake. Because to me, there's two most important things, people. It's effort and attitude. If someone will put in the effort, and if they have the right attitude, I can live with their mistakes. Another one, of course, is by Sam Walton, which I really like. Outstanding leaders go out of their way to boost the self-esteem of their personnel. Now, this is Sam Walton, who happened to have been one time, the richest person in the world. He's, of course, he's deceased now, but when he left this planet, I think he was the richest. And I believe, by the way, 3 or 4 of his family are still in the top 10 richest people in the world. But outstanding leaders go out of their way to boost the self-esteem of their personnel. If people believe in themselves, it's amazing what they can accomplish. And Walton believed that and made a big difference in his organization. Okay, the next Sun is Life webinar is Thursday, May the 16th. And that's on staff performance, managing staff sales efforts, maintaining and improving sales with compensation and incentives, measuring customer delight with a secret shopper program, and redirecting sales associate performance. That'll be at 3 o'clock on Thursday, May the 16th. And David, I am probably remiss because I didn't ask you before the webinar started. I don't think that we have the sign-in sheet ready for that yet, do we? Or
Not quite yet, no.
Okay, so people, if you want to sign up for this, we'd love to have you all back. Just give us a little bit here. End of the day, David, do you think?
Quite possibly, yes.
Okay, all right. So love to have you all back because we had a big crowd here today. Now, here's just a little commercial. You know that we sell consulting services, both marketing and human resources. And while I'm going through this little commercial, make sure you're writing your questions in the chat box, and we'll answer them. And but just like a doctor, I have to analyze the salon business's vital signs. So if you go to johnrfarr.com free consult, you can send me your numbers, or I'll send you back a specific homework sheet. And if you give me your numbers, they're always confidential. I have hundreds and hundreds of salons in our computers, and it'll give me an idea which way your business is going. It'll also give me a good plan to share with you of what we can do to make your business better. And speaking of that, normally for a 60 to 90 minute tanning consultant session, I'd charge one of those big ones there. I can't remember, was it Franklin or I can't remember, 500 big ones. But for people on this webinar, this is a free consultation. You just go to that and sign up, save yourself some money, get 90 minutes of my boring conversation with your numbers and some of the other things you're going to tell me about competition, and let's see if we can't help your business. Now, I also want to do a little commercial on Sun is Life. I am absolutely blown away by what Mr. Tony Brown at IST Magazine is doing. I'm telling you, people, this is the coolest thing that I think I've seen in many, many years in this business. The Sun is Life training module, at first I thought it started out just to be a certification program. It's way, way, way beyond that, and what he's doing is marvelous. I'm bubbling over. I'd love to tell you all the things that he's doing, but Tony is going to have, without a doubt, the industry's best education and training program, not just certification, but training modules. It's going to be just killer. I mean, everybody, by the way, is sponsoring this. All of the big distributors, the lotion companies, I mean, they are behind this huge. So if you get a chance, please go to look it up on Facebook, or look at Sun is Life and see what they're doing right now. He's going to have some big announcements in the next month or two. And, of course, for us, you know our company, and if you want the package, you want some of these things from us, the Secret Shopper, Salon Employee Meeting Agenda, Training Checklist, we've got stuff on there, and it's all free. Just come to the Power Group Company's website at www.johnrfarr.com. And so now, David, I think we're ready to take some questions. And as you know, David, I think my second screen here is messed up, so I'm not sure I can see the questions here, so well, maybe I can now. Okay. I take it back. I think I can see them now. So, am I looking at the right? David, do you see the questions?
Yeah, I do. Yep. Underneath the questions tab there, you have to expand that.
Under the questions tab. Okay, we're just having a little bit of John Zamora on here, trying to find the questions tab.
See the orange arrow? Click on the orange arrow if you haven't there. Okay, and so do you have GoToWebinar expanded, the control panel?
I do. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then do you see the questions tab? If you look up and down the panel, you should see a tab for questions.
Okay.
Oh wait, you know what? Hold on here.
See, people, this is why you have to have a propeller head, because you're trying to keep me from it. Now I know what's going on here. Okay.
There you go. I had to upgrade you. Sorry about that.
Nice guy. Okay. All right. I can't. Let's see. What am I doing wrong here?
If you want, I can also just read them to you as well. But if you don't see, you can. There's the view option at the top. If you say view, you should see questions at the very top. There, view questions.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, go ahead. Why don't you just?
Okay.
If you've got one, go ahead.
So Brandon's wondering, what was the link to sign up for the free consulting time from John?
You mean okay, Brenda, I'm assuming you're saying...
That's Brandon.
Brandon, I'm sorry, Brandon, I'm sorry. Wondering the length, well, the free consultation will be somewhere between 60 and 90 minutes, because it'll take... No,
the link. Where do they sign up?
So
if you just go back a few slides, actually.
Oh, yeah, okay, thank you. Hello. Right there, johnrfarr.com/freeconsult.
Okay, and then our next question from Marl. Can't see if Marlin, I think. I have an employee that has been with the company for many years. However, she is too friendly, shares too much of her personal life. How would you handle this?
Oh, boy.
It was Marlene. I apologize, Marlene.
Marlene. Okay. Well, I assume, Marlene, when you say she shares too much of her personal life, she's sharing it with not just you. I assume she's sharing it with everybody. A person that does that, and that doesn't mean that she's evil or anything like that. It just means she's probably a little insecure about her life, and she's looking for someone to give her significance, to give her relevance. So what she's doing, she's talking to anybody and everybody. Now, I would assume that this is becoming a problem with other customers and with employees. And, you know, there's an old adage that says, when all else fails, tell the truth. And the truth of this is Marlene, you'll have to sit down with her. I would kind of sandwich this. If she's a good employee, I would sandwich this with the message of what she does well, and tell her these things that she does well. That there is an issue, however, that you do need to share with her, and that is that these things that she's discussing about her personal life with people may not be the best judgment in the world, because it's really her domain, and it might make other people feel uncomfortable. And also what it might do is those people might start talking about her personal problems behind her back, and I don't think that she would want that. So I think if she's a good employee in every other way, I would try to handle it again with the velvet glove approach, if you will, and I would make sure that I would tell her some of the things that she's doing well before I would tell her about what you're hearing. Now, if there's more to this, Marlene, than I've heard, then that's the way I would handle it. What else have we got here?
So I'm thinking some of these are actually a little bit, I don't know if you might want to make the call on whether or not you want to, read them out loud and also read the person's name. So probably would be best to see some of these here. So if you click on the very top, there should be View and then Questions. And if you go down to the Questions panel.
Okay, questions. Okay, all right. Okay, and Marlene said thank you. That's very helpful. And yeah, again, Marlene, if I knew more about it, I might be able to give you more. Okay, I see Marlene's question.
So just go ahead and probably the best way is to expand it off the dock there. So there's a little box that looks like an arrow that kind of points to the corner. You see that? It says Undock Pane from Control Panel. And then you can really make it nice and large so you can see everything.
Okay. Undock, okay. Oh, there we are. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are we here? Let's get, oh boy, we got a bunch of them here. Okay. Brandon Scott says IST rocks. Well, thank you, Brandon. Okay. How are numbers looking today?
That was from Tony. I already answered Tony.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. So here is it possible to salvage or turn around an employee that has an issue with authority and continues causing drama with any manager, leader they're placed under? The employee has acknowledged that she has a problem with authority and is working on it. Okay, wow, that's a great question. That is from Brittany. Brittany, thank you for that question. All right, let me just repeat that. Is it possible to salvage or turn around an employee that has an issue with authority and continues causing drama with any manager or leader that they're placed with? Well, the fact that they've acknowledged with you, and I've said before, Brittany, that what's important is effort and attitude. And if the attitude is that they acknowledge that they have a problem, that's a good place, to start with. Now, generally, you need to give them consistent feedback on those moments of truth, if you will, where they continue to fight that authority that person, is placing with them. Now, part of it, if this is really a good employee, what you might want to do is find out what it is that they're particularly passionate about in doing their job. If there's certain things about their job that they really like, and maybe you have them work on that. I don't know. That's what we call that job enrichment, and maybe that would make them happier about where they work. I don't know. Just a thought. But at the end of the day, if this person will not accept a new manager or a new leader, then you can't continue to let them go on with disrupting your operation as well. Now, they acknowledge that they're a problem, they have trouble with authority, they do have to work it out, because we're in the business of running tanning salons. We're not in the business as professional clinicians. We can't psychoanalyze everybody. But it's good that they acknowledge it. I just would give them a certain time period to correct this and say, well, let's review this in 30 days from now. And that's what I would do, Brittany, is say, I know that you're working on it. Let's review this in 30 days from now and see how this has worked out with the people that you're working with, the person you're reporting to. Okay, what do we got here? Somebody, Rebecca said, loved it, thank you. I hope she's talking about the webinar, I hope. Always nice to hear those comments. On the first commercial, what was that website again? I
believe that's what we're looking at right now. I believe she's
okay.
referring to the free consult.
Okay.
So it's actually now you had a couple different ones though. So yeah, it's either, is it free consult or free consultation? Because on one of the other slides I could have swore it said free consult. Can you just we're gonna make sure we're on one or the other here, because I know it's not on both. Would you mind just going back a slide and then maybe going forward a slide? I just want to see. I could have swore, unless my mind's playing tricks on me, which happens quite a bit.
All right.
So go back the other way. Yeah, see. So that one's free consult, and that's actually the correct one. So
okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry about the confusion, people. That is the correct one. Yep. Sorry about that. Now you know why I have to have people like David to bail me out. Okay. So let's go back to the questions here. We've got, do you recommend reinforcing employee efforts and achievements via a pay increase? Well, excellent question. Of course, you couldn't do that. And that's from Dina. Thank you, Dina, for that question. And of course, you couldn't do that with every time that they have an effort or an achievement. But what you can do, even that verbal reinforcement, and by the way, if you want it to really be powerful, if you have monthly meetings, which you should with your employees, and you reinforce their efforts and achievements during that meeting, or anybody else in there, that's going to get you a huge amount of motivation, because we like to be recognized in front of our peers. So, you know, a pay increase is really, should be based on merit over a period of time, such as a year. And, you know, it should be also connected to a performance evaluation. And there's a whole theory that goes into that, how much you should be increasing, and it's something that, unfortunately, we don't have the time to cover right now. But, yeah, I think if you do that during, not only do it personally with them one-on-one, but do it during a meeting, that'll get you a lot of motivation. Let's see, it says here, for the salons you assist, what is the range of salon size? Let me get to this here. And population around the salons. Okay, the range of salon size. Oh, that's a good question. Okay, I was just talking to a salon the other day that I think they aspire to do $75,000 or $80,000. I have a salon chain that averages almost $700,000 per salon. So, I mean, it is all over the board. I have a single salon that'll do by itself, just one salon, not chain, that'll do about $500,000. I have another salon, a single salon, that'll do about $200,000. The other day they had 165 tanners come in. So the salon sizes are all over the board, and I think that question was from Mark. I think that was from you. And the populations are all over the board. We have a single salon in Rice Lake, Wisconsin with 8,500 people. We have a salon out in West Hollywood with, you guess the population, whatever that is, the millions or whatever it is. So it's all over the board. Let's see what other questions we have here. Okay. Closing three. Each salon board. Okay. Here's one. It says we are looking at closing 3 of our 6 locations based on an analysis of each salon performance and sales trends over the past few years. Any quick suggestions? Oh my goodness. I couldn't begin to suggest because I don't know the numbers and I don't know your reasons for closing. Because your reasons for closing may not strictly be the numbers. It may be competition. It might be the cost of replacing equipment. Salon called me the other day that had equipment that hasn't been changed in almost 9 years, and they're looking at a huge cost to upgrade their equipment. So let's see, I won't say who that was that said that, but if you want to contact me for a consultation, I will help you with trying to make that decision. Let's see what else we've got here. Just one of the best. Facebook link is Son is Life Training here. Okay, we need the Facebook page link for Son is Life Training. So let me go back to that. I want you to have that. What did I do with it here? Go back, people, and I think I'm going it up. I could have done this a lot easier. I would have just. Okay, there is Tony's picture, and you see is Son is Life. Can they see that, David? SonIsLifeTraining.com.
Yeah, I believe so. Were they looking for the Facebook page though? Or?
Oh, wait a minute. What did I do? That's the, okay, so hold on here. Where's the Facebook page?
I think it's either right before or right after this one, I thought.
I think you're correct. I think you're correct. Sorry, Tony, that we don't have this. Here we go. Here we go, guys. You can see it there. Son is Life. There's your Facebook page.
It most likely would be easier, though, just to search in Facebook for it, because that's kind of a long one to type out right there. But in any case, though, it's right there.
Okay. Well, we're running considerably late here, and let me just see if I got any more. We've got a lot more questions here. I hate to cut it off. Let's see here. It says, to tell us ways to reinforce our employees. My salon is a high-volume salon. We do a lot of EFTs and lotion sales. My manager does a really good job at keeping their experience going. I do buy her dinners, lunch, and give her money as a thank you here and there. Is there any other ideas I should do? Well, I don't know if you do incentives based on increasing of PTA or per tan average. That's a really good one. I like that. I don't know if you do anything with graduated commissions on lotion sales. That's another good one. Also, I would look at your EFT close rate. See who is doing the best job of closing EFT sales on the transactions that they do handle. I'd be curious, you say you do a lot of EFTs. I'd be curious what your percentage of revenue is in EFT, because that would be, it'd be interesting to know. So let's just see here what else we got. Okay, how would you approach your suggestion? Oh, okay. And I think, David, what I should do, because I think we're going to be running these people a little bit too long here, but let's answer this last question here, and then folks, if you please, really, if I'm going to really solicit your help, if you would take the survey after this, and if you would give us some written comment on how you feel about the webinar, any kind of feedback, good, bad, so we can make the webinars better. We would really appreciate it if you would just, give us something more than just, I think, the stock answers that are on there. They can write in comments, can't they, David, on the
Oh, yes, definitely, yes.
Okay, so really, people, if you could help us on that, I would really appreciate that. But here's the last question. Okay, the owner of my salon is a great lady, owns 4 locations. However, she rarely comes to individual stores, does not know the employees at the stores. How would you approach her to suggest she visit each store at least once a month? Well, that's a fantastic question. I'm going to assume, I'm not going to mention the lady's name because I don't want that to be, get back to whoever the owner is. But I'm going to assume that this owner is not a motivational vacuum when she does come into the store, that she actually can make an impact by coming around there. And if that's the case, if she helps people to feel better about their jobs because the owner is coming around and maybe giving some reinforcement, then that's what you should say. You should say, you know, Miss Owner, you could be very valuable to us in your occasional stops into the stores, because they know that I'm the manager of the stores, but they'd like to hear from the owner herself how she feels the stores are doing. And that word, sometimes from on high, from the boss's boss, can really be a motivator. So I would put it to her in a very positive way, as opposed to saying, you know, you're never in the stores. Just say how important it would be if she was in the stores, because she could really help motivate just by her presence. Okay, so and then I've got thank you guys. You all rock. Love your webinars. And that was Brandon Scott, and well, thank you, Brandon. Okay, David, I think we're going to have to move along here because there are still a lot of people on here, and I'm sure they want to get on with the rest of their day, and I would hope when they get off this call they're being slammed at the counter. But please, people, I'll ask you again, if you could, if you have any kind comments or nasty comments, anything you want to make, but please, if you would make them on the survey. And David, I think we're ready to sign off, and you're going to tell them about the survey?
It should automatically pop up, so thanks a lot, everyone, for attending, and here comes the survey.
All right, people. Thank you, and have a good day.